Hey friends, welcome to a Lissa recipe video. Today we are going to be making cucumber noodles with a chunky vegetable Mexi sauce. Now the Mexi sauce recipe is in my dips and dressings book. We're just kind of adding on to it and we're going to be adding things to it. But you can find that recipe and 116 others in my dips and dressings book. You can get the print version off Amazon. Just head over to Amazon and search plant-based dips and dressings. And you can get the ebook version on my website. You can find that right here. And the link is also in the description below. So if you're looking for recipes, please head over there and check those out. There's plenty in there. But today we are going to be doing, like I said, the Mexi sauce, and we're going to be adding chunky vegetables to the sauce. So first things first, let's peel our cucumbers. Now I have 3 cucumbers here. You don't need to use 3. I like to use 3 because I eat a lot of cucumber noodles. I find they're a lot lighter than zucchini noodles and I want more of them. So I'm going to be using 3 of them. And again, you don't need to peel your cucumbers, but I like the way they look better in photographs, and because I'm going to be taking some pretty pictures of this, I'm going to peel my cucumbers. You can, like I said, leave the peel on if you want that extra fiber. You're more than welcome to do that, or you can peel them. Peeling them also helps with people who have maybe some digestive issues with extra fiber. This can help as well to avoid a little bit of the gas and bloating that comes from a really high fiber diet. So now that our cucumbers are all peeled, it's time to run them through the spiralizer. I highly recommend getting a spiralizer, especially if you find that you get bored of doing salads often. Lettuce-based salads, can get boring if you do them all the time. So finding different ways to chop your vegetables and finding different ways to prepare other things like raw soups, cucumber noodles, mini mushroom pizzas, marinated mushrooms. There are so many different things that you can do to get out of the boredom rut of salads. Now, I love salads. I eat salads every day, but some people do need that little extra variety. So I definitely highly recommend finding different chopping tools, graters, spiralizers, mandolins to kind of get a little bit creative with your vegetables. So I am going to compost all of these peelings and we're going to go ahead and spiralize the cucumbers. Spiralizers are fairly easy to use. You just put your cucumber in there and spin. Now we have all of the cucumber noodles and a lot of water on the counter. So I'm actually going to transfer these over, for now, into a strainer and let them sit in the sink. There are other ways that you can dry the noodles out a little bit. You could use paper towel, you could use the dehydrator, but I like to just let them sit, see it's already dripping a little bit, in the sink for a little while I'm preparing everything else to give the water a little bit of time to dissipate off of the cucumber. Now I've got water everywhere, so I'm going to clean this up before we get going with the rest. As a raw vegan, I don't cook any of my food or heat it past about 115 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. But there are tricks that you can use to warm your food, and since we're making kind of a spaghetti style dinner, we need some more marinara. Especially in the winter, it's nice to have a little bit of a warmer meal if you need that. So we need to make the sauce last, because when you're blending it in the Vitamix, the friction of the Vitamix heats up the sauce, but it cools down quite quickly after you're done with it. So we want to make sure that everything is ready before we make the sauce. So since we're making a chunky sauce, we want to add and chop all the vegetables to the bowl first, and then we can make the sauce after, stir everything together, and it'll be nice and warm for our noodles. So let's start out with a couple ingredients that I want to put in the sauce to make it chunky. We're going to do a little bit of jalapeno, some tomato, broccoli, green onions, and white onion. So we're going to start, let's start with the broccoli. So I'm going to chop the broccoli, and I want to chop it into extremely fine pieces. I don't want to have really, really chunky broccoli in my sauce. So as you can see, we have all of these itty bitty little tiny broccolis ready for our sauce. Next up, let's do some green onions. Now you can really put anything you want in this sauce. You can put corn or kale or really anything, grated carrots. Next up, I'm only going to use a couple slices of this onion. Not too much, but probably about 3 slices. I'll save you the other half for tomorrow. Now you want to dice these into little small pieces. Then we'll add these to our bowl. And let's do a little bit of jalapeno. I'm only going to do half today. Now again, as I've said in some of my other videos, if you don't want them to be as spicy, then you should take out the center pith part with the seeds. So take out as much of the white as you possibly can, which will help lower the spiciness of the jalapeno. Then we just mince these into itty bitty little tiny pieces to add to our chunky veggie mix. Awesome. Just put these in there. And we'll move on to our tomato. Now this is a beautiful heirloom tomato, really soft, really ready to go. So I just want to slice them fairly thin because I want to make little cubes. I don't want to make it too chunky, but just chunky enough. Now that all our chunky ingredients are chopped and ready, I'm just going to stir this a little bit, and the next step will be to plate our cucumber noodles so that they are ready for the sauce. We're going to use this bowl for our cucumber noodles. So you can take them out of the sink or dehydrator or wherever and add them to your bowl. I like to make a little bit of a hole in the center to make room because we're going to have a lot of sauce. And we'll just put this aside for now and blend our sauce. So in your high-speed blender, if you want to have a warm sauce, you're going to need to have a high-speed blender because some blenders don't actually warm up the sauce. So make sure that you have a Vitamix or one that will warm the sauce. We're going to start with four little baby cherry tomatoes. I'm going to put in probably about a 1/4 cup worth of sun-dried tomatoes, 3 pitted medjool dates, 2 cloves of garlic, and we are going to put half of this red pepper into our dressing. I like to chop it up a little bit just to give a little hand to the blender. Can't forget to add a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Probably about a teaspoon is really all you need. Then we have the spices. This is the best part, I think. We've got some oregano. It's about a little over a teaspoon. We have 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika, and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And then here we have the chili powder. Now, it depends on the chili powder that you have. Some of them are quite spicy, some of them are kind of mild, so it really depends. I'm adding just over a teaspoon worth into my dressing, but you can always start with less and add more as you like. So that's going to be our sauce. I'm going to use a little bit of purified water. The trick to this one is that you want to blend on high for about 2 minutes to get the sauce to be really warm. And once it's warm to the touch, that's when you know it's ready, and we will add it to our chunky vegetables. So let's get blending. All right, the sauce is nice and warm and blended, and it smells amazing. The first thing you want to do is to just stir it. You want to get rid of all of those bubbles. As you can see, these bubbles don't make it taste very good. So if you can, maybe scoop a little bit of them off and just stir, because as you stir, it's going to pop some of those air bubbles. Now, once you're pretty much bubble free, you can add to your vegetables. You can add the whole thing. I'm not going to add the whole thing because I'm going to save a little bit of that sauce for tomorrow, because I'm going to be making mini mushroom pizzas, and I want to have just a little bit of tomato sauce to put inside my mushrooms. So I'm going to save a little bit. You can use the whole thing if you want, you can use half. Again, it's totally up to you with what you want to do, but I always make a little extra because I like to save some for the next day. So I'm going to stir this a little bit and get those broccoli pieces all warm and work out the rest of the bubbles. You'll never fully get rid of all of the bubbles, but it's nice to get as many out as you possibly can. It makes the sauce much creamier and a lot nicer to eat. So here we have our chunky vegetable Mexi sauce. We're gonna add that to our cucumber noodles. Ah, yes. And because Dr. Michael Greger posted a video about how adding a little bit of avocado to your salsa or your salads helps to actually absorb a lot of the beta carotene and other vitamins and minerals in your vegetables, I am going to add just a little bit. These avocados are fairly small, so I'm not too concerned about the fat amount because I'm only having half. And there's a big seed, so that I know not a lot of people like big seeds, but I like big seeds. I'm just gonna scoop out this lovely avocado half. And we'll just slice that up. And add it to the top of our spaghetti. To finish it off for a little bit of presentation, you could add a little bit of chili powder. And if you're adventurous, some red pepper flakes. So here we have our cucumber noodles with our chunky Mexi sauce and avocado. So this is what I'm going to have for dinner. Now, if it gets a little bit watery, you can always drain some of the water out, but I don't like to mix the sauce in because then it all gets kind of watery. That's just a little bit of a tip. I like to keep the sauce chunky on the top so I can pull from it as I'm eating and drain the water out as necessary if you want. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please click like and subscribe to my channel to get notifications for more, because I'm going to be doing a lot more recipe videos, a lot more what I ate in a day with food prep and workouts. So if you guys are interested in that, please comment below with any recipe suggestions that you'd like to see in these videos. Let me know what you think about this video and make sure that you subscribe so that you can get notifications for when I do more. You can find me on Facebook, Lissa's Raw Food Romance, on Instagram at Raw Food Romance, and on Snapchat, Lissa Raw Vegan. Again, all of my ebook recipes are right here at this link and in the description below. You can also find print copies on Amazon. So let's go enjoy this delicious, delicious meal. And until the next video, guys, I love you all, and fruit on.